Now, before I had my spiritual awakening, one of the dreams that I used to have was that me going to a certain destination and never making it there. And I used to wake up from this dream and wonder, wow, what is this dream trying to tell me? And then one day, when I was living in this darkness of the soul, the first one, all of a sudden, this overwhelming emotion came over me, an emotion of abandonment. It was so uncomfortable and it was so overwhelming. And then I felt like something left my body. And that was the beginning of me healing from my childhood trauma. So today, guys, let me share with you how to heal from your trauma, particularly your childhood trauma. Oh, hello, beautiful people of the world. This is Lula, and welcome to Awaken the Ego Within. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you and love you all. Now, how to heal from your trauma, particularly your childhood trauma. Now, most people in the world have trauma, but the way you respond to it, guys, will either make you or break you. If you happen to have a trauma and you don't heal the trauma, guys, let me tell you something. There's no becoming or expressing your higher self. Because this trauma will stop you from living your best life, guys. The trauma that you had as a child or any trauma will influence the kind of things that you do, the kind of people that you attract in your life, guys, and the kind of experience which you will have in your life. Now, I'm not a psychologist or anything, guys, but I did manage to heal some of my wounds. So let me share with you how I did it, guys. Now, before I go any further in this video, there's one thing I gotta say. We never stop healing, but the sooner we start, guys, the sooner we can discover who we really are and begin to move forward. I've had to do so much healing in my life. It was the hardest thing I ever did. It was also the best thing I ever did for me. I was walking around in this world, carrying around all this baggage, guys. And before I had my spiritual awakening, for some reason, I couldn't point a finger to it. I knew there was a big hole inside of me that needed to be filled, but I didn't know what. I would go around, try to be successful, hoping that it will fill the hole that is within me, but it never did, guys. I'll get into all these different relationships. I would go do all these things. I was still left feeling like there was something missing. There was something I had to do in order for me to express my higher self. Now, when I had that experience, guys, in the darkness of the soul, or releasing that emotion, you know what? I haven't had that kind of dream ever again. And besides, I never felt like I still have challenges from time to time, but I haven't felt like there was something major missing inside of my life, So in this video, guys, what are the ways that have helped me in order for me to begin healing my trauma. Now, the first one was like to pick up a spiritual practice. Now, mine was to retention, but a spiritual practice, it can be in a form of many. It can be in a form of meditation, prayer, or anything that will get you close to who you really are. You know? Now, at the beginning of my journey, I began to practice heat retention. You know, after a little while, I was feeling all this euphoria. I had this energy within me, like needed to be expressed. I had all this confidence. And then some months later, I hit like a roadblock. Everything came to a stop, and I felt tired. It was like a big, dense energy within me, and somehow the energy was trapped within me, you know, and that put me in the dark night of the soul. And as I was living in the dark night of the soul, one day, I was just laying in my room, and this emotion came over me, like an overwhelming emotion, you know, this emotion that I felt as a kid when my parents abandoned me. Not abandoned me, but when they gave, like, I grew up with an extended family, so that I grew up feeling like I had no family support, and this affected everything that I did. I was even angry most of the time, which I will always find an escape in a form of smoking weed and drinking and getting into all these different relationships and also working so that I won't be bothered with this kind of thing, like with that emotion. And then one day, when I was laying back, this overwhelming emotion came over me. And then I felt like I had released something out of my body. And within a month, I lost a lot of weight. It's like I lost 20 kilos or something like that. And then that was me beginning to understand. I was holding all of this emotion, dense emotion within me. And once I released it, I never felt like I had to search for. I hadn't felt like the need to search for something outside of myself ever since. So picking up a spiritual practice really helped me to deal with with my childhood trauma. So if you feel like you got a trauma that you feel like it's an obstacle in your way, you know, becoming your higher self, I would say, guys, spiritual practice will help you guys face your trauma and ultimately begin the process of releasing your trauma. Now, what is the second way, guys, that helped me in order for me to release my trauma? And that was me reliving the situation over again. What I mean by that was that I began to revisit the situation and the experiences that had made me feel the trauma. Me, what I did was that I went to visit my parents back in my country. And, you know, even though it was so tough, that made me relive the trauma that I had as a kid. After I'd visited them, guys, I had a talk with them. And then especially my dad, when I met him like this, you know, and then I saw that he didn't even care that much as I did. You know, now that helped me, guys, release my trauma. Now, what is the last way, but the most important way You know, to help you release your trauma, guys. Oh my God, I'm feeling so overwhelmed when I'm talking about this because it's like I'm reliving the thing again, but it's like in my mind, but I'm not feeling the emotion about it as much as I did. Now, what is the last way and the most effective way of dealing with your past trauma, especially your childhood trauma? You know what I mean? Now, that is, guys, forgiveness. Forgiveness has to happen in order for you to get past this stage of your life, guys. And I must admit, it was also one of the hardest things I ever had to do, but the most necessary thing that I had to do in order for me to heal from the trauma. You know. Now, since forgiving people that did you wrong is so hard, how do you begin to forgive them? You know, one of the ways that have made it easy for me to forgive, you know, my trauma, people that inflicted trauma on me, was that at a soul level, I was the one that chose my parents before I came here. And my soul needed that experience in order for me to grow and become my higher self. You know what I mean? Now, once I awakened, I understood obstacle was the way so that I can share with other people and help them also release their trauma so that they can become their higher self. You know, once you look at it that way, guys, forgiveness will be easier for you in order for you to move forward. And the next thing that will make forgiveness easier, guys, is that to realize that even them, that trauma was passed on to them. You know, so hurt people hurt, therefore, they have gone through trauma themselves and they didn't know how to live their lives in a proper way. Therefore, they had passed their trauma on to me. You know, and one day I sat on my bed and I said, you know what? I'm going to release you. I'm going to take this contract. It was good knowing you. And the experience that I had with you had made me a better person. Nothing against you. Therefore, I'll forgive you, I said. And then from that moment on, I had found a lot of peace within me. And then I began to do my life's work, guys. That's what I mean. So the forgiveness has to be there in order for this, in order for you to release the emotion that is within you. Otherwise, guys, this will affect everything that you do. It'll affect your money. It will affect your relationship. And ultimately, it will affect the person or the highest expression of yourself, guys. Therefore, forgiveness is a must. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Like, share, subscribe for more videos like this. Until next time, God bless. Bye bye.